Also, Hamza, TikTok is worse than you thought.
Jeffrey slowly opens his crusty eyes. You can already feel the throbbing pain in his head from all the junk food he ate last night. He checks his phone. It's 3 in the afternoon. He's got assignments to hand in tomorrow. But what do you think Jeffrey does? He opens up TikTok and starts scrolling. I'll just look at a couple of videos and then I'll go brush my teeth, thinks Jeffrey. 2 hours later and he's still scrolling, and by the time that he gets up, there's only a couple hours left of daylight. Adonis is awake before the birds have even begun to sing. He understands that for men, life is a race, and if you want to win this race, you have to start before everyone else.
Digga, ich liebe dieses Prinzip, Digga. Jeffrey versus Adonis. Aber ich schwör, früher, wie vor 2 Jahren oder so, war ich richtiger Lossi, war ich richtiger Loser, Digga. Ich habe locker 4 Stunden auf dieser App verbracht. Es war
Adonis doesn't check his phone. He doesn't even know what TikTok is. Whilst Jeffrey is staggering home from his night out, Adonis is on his morning run. By the time Jeffrey wakes up, Adonis has already been to the gym and finished his work for the day. This is how all young men should live. Myself and a lot of other guys my age,
Digga. Sieht richtig aus wie Hamza,
so
Digga.
grateful that we've never actually used TikTok properly. But this video is for those younger men who may have a TikTok addiction. And, you know, this seems like a little wishy-washy video just talking, oh, you know, TikTok's a bad app. But as we get further and further into our understanding of what TikTok actually is and how it truly ruins your life, you start to realize that this is a lot more serious than we think it is. Because on the surface, TikTok seems like a harmless app. It's just, you know, social media. It's just a bit of fun. You can see videos of people like dancing or doing some goofy pranks. Yeah, it's okay, isn't it? But the issue is that TikTok has been meticulously designed to addict you, to siphon away the most important thing that they can take away from you, which is your attention. You open the app harmlessly, you know, just a quick 2 minutes of fun, you start scrolling, the videos are only...
Aufmerksamkeit ist heutzutage die größte Währung. Warum denkst du, dass du für die ganzen Apps nicht zahlen musst? Dass du für Instagram und TikTok und fucking YouTube nichts zahlen musst? Weil du mit deiner Aufmerksamkeit zahlst.
8 seconds long, so you surely can't spend too much time on here, right? And then hours pass by. And did you know that the average TikTok user is on TikTok 5 times more than the average YouTube user uses YouTube? 5 times more. YouTube's been around for more than a decade and it's amassed about 2 billion users. TikTok's been around for about 2 years and it's got about half that of YouTube, and it's growing much faster. There's a key to TikTok's ability to hook your attention and just take away hours per day, and it's through the use of unpredictable rewards. Now, you've probably heard about people talking about dopamine recently, haven't you? Like dopamine detox, and Andrew Huberman is like a scientist who talks about dopamine a lot. More and more people are talking about dopamine, and I'm not like some scientist, so I'll just give you a very simple explanation. Essentially, dopamine is kind of like motivation. It's not so much the enjoy.
Stell euch mal eine Frage. Wann ist TikTok wirklich bekannt geworden? Ende 2019. Ende 2019 wurde TikTok wirklich bekannt und die meisten Leute auf der Welt haben TikTok benutzt. Oder in der westlichen Welt haben TikTok benutzt. Was kam 2 Monate später? 2020. Du hast eine App erfunden, die Menschen unterhält, während du sie in ihre Häuser einsperrst. Kennen wir das Prinzip nicht von irgendwoher? Prinzip der Römer. Caesar hat damals das Kolosseum gebaut, um die Menschen davon abzulenken, was für Scheiße er in dem Land macht. Dass er die Menschen ausbeutet. Es sind alles Taktiken. Geschichte wiederholt sich, Digga. Aber in der Schule lernen wir sowas nicht. Wir lernen lieber, oh, wie hat Stalin...
of something. It's more...
Gebrainwashte Geschichte, Digga, die nicht mal stimmt.
So a pleasurable feeling when you're about to get that thing, when you're on pursuit of that thing. Does that make sense? So you don't actually get that much dopamine when you eat the junk food. You get dopamine when you know you're going to eat the junk food 5 minutes from now. Dopamine's all about the motivation to go and do the thing. And this is how TikTok absolutely hooks, addicts, manipulates your dopamine receptors, because it's not about you just seeing the best kind of video. It's about the search for the best video. It's about the search for the next video that makes you breathe from your nose. Just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and your dopamine's just hyperactive because you never know, the next scroll might be really, really interesting. If you've ever studied psychology, you might know that there's a very famous experiment that found this out like decades ago, and this was called the Skinner rat box. B.F. Skinner is a very famous psychologist, mostly because of this experiment. B.F. Skinner ran an experiment where he put rats inside of a box. Skinner observed that the animals responded most to random rewards. The mice or rats or pigeons would press a lever and sometimes they get a small treat, other times a large treat, and other times nothing at all. Unlike the mice that receive the same treat every single time, the mice that receive variable rewards seem to press the lever compulsively. This is the key to TikTok's addiction strategy. You couple that strategy with the fact that Tinder has an endless scroll, like you can't get to the bottom, you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's almost like it's psychological warfare. Because you see that the creators of TikTok know what they were doing when they created a platform like this. They know that this would addict you severely. And that there's
Boah,
such
Digga,
a
ich
level
weiß,
of
ich hab dieses Video schon geschaut. Aber ich kann mich daran nicht erinnern, Digga.
to stop the pursuit of the next dopamine-filled TikTok. To close the app is actually kind of difficult. It's not uncommon for us to hear of some young guy.
TikTok zu schließen ist, Digga, es ist so schwer. Und ich, für mich heute auch. Ich scroll einfach auch manchmal so. Meine For You-Page ist ziemlich gut, sage ich mal. Die sagt alle 2 TikToks, ey, was machst du, Digga? Ich steh auf. Also so motivational Shit. Und dann schließe ich halt die App. Ich werde dann halt von TikTok weggejagt. Was noch okay ist. Aber manche von euch haben ja nur so so richtig scheiß For You-Pages, Digga. So richtig random For You-Pages, Digga.
Guys who are spending more than 1 to 2 to 3 hours per day on TikTok, and there's literally some guys who are more on the extreme side, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. I can already sense that there might be some people watching this who may have fallen victim to like the Jeffrey propaganda that's come from these companies, and you might literally have like this conscious thought right now thinking, oh, but like, you know, it's not that bad, like I only do it a little bit, I only do it
Es ist nicht so schlimm. Ich muss mich erholen. Also, wenn ich von der Schule zurückkomme, dann erhole ich mich ein bisschen, dann scroll ich ein bisschen auf TikTok rum, dann mache ich meine Arbeit. Denkst du, du erholst dich, wenn du auf TikTok bist? Denkst du wirklich, du erholst dich, wenn du auf TikTok bist? Dein Gehirn wird mit fucking Informationen vollgeballert. Es kann nicht ruhen. Du hast die ganze Zeit was Neues zu sehen. TikTok ist mental anstrengender als Gym. In Gym kannst du dich mental ausruhen. Da kannst du dich mental irgendwas abbauen, weil du das körperlich rauslässt. Aber wenn du dann auf TikTok rumscrollst, danach bist du müde. Du hast keine Energie mehr. Du bist einfach müde. Du willst schlafen gehen. Du willst einfach nur weiter scrollen. Weil du die ganze Zeit voll gepumpt bist mit Informationen. Oh, Dopamin. Dann hast du gar keinen Bock mehr, irgendwie Arbeit zu machen. Du bekommst hier Dopamin. Du bekommst hier Glück, Spaß. Warum sollst du dann die Arbeit machen?
Having a thought like that actually shows that you don't have much respect for yourself, because as a young man, you must know this. Your time, your attention, your ability to do work is worth so much. If you expect to become successful in the future, which I just want you to ask yourself right now, you might have never actually asked yourself this question. Just ask yourself totally with honesty, do I expect to become successful in the future? More than just average, more than just making £30,000 or dollars per year, which is like average in these countries. Do I expect to become very successful, make 70k, 100k, 200k per year? Because if the answer is yes,
Digga, 200k per month. Das will ich,
the
Digga.
way that you will achieve that goal of becoming very successful is by valuing your time and putting your time into the things that would actually get you to that level of success, isn't it? Because success is literally all just, have you put in your time into the right things? Have you been learning? Have you been implementing? Have you been trying businesses? Have you been experiencing failure and rejection so that you can grow more? Or have you just been staying in a state of comfort, lying down sideways, just getting more dopamine? Now, everything we've discussed in this video is just basic. It's kind of like common sense now. A bunch of people have...
Wenn du mal wirklich drüber nachdenkst, ist TikTok wie in der Matrix. Die ganzen Leute werden auch an so Computern dran geschlossen. Die wird so ein Leben vorgelebt. Die wird ein fucking Leben vorgelebt. Die sind so hier so auf dem Computer. Die wird mit ihrem Gehirn wird als Energie benutzt und denen wird irgendeine Simulation vorgelebt. Genau so, Digga. Weißt du, wie behindert dumm du aussiehst, wenn du in deinem fucking Bett liegst, fucking eingerollt und dein fucking Handy vor deinem Gesicht hältst? Und dann so scrollst. Mach auf, Digga.
TikTok's, algorithms are really strong, and there's artificial intelligence, and there's data tracking, and there's the dopamine and stuff. Most people know this, don't we? It gets kind of deeper when you really research TikTok even more. That's when the hairs on your arm start to stand up, and you look around thinking that this could literally destroy the world. And I'm not over-exaggerating when I say that.
Jetzt kommt der krasse
TikTok
Part.
is created by a Chinese company called ByteDance. And ByteDance is actually partnered with the CCP, like the Chinese government. In their agreements, which you can literally read in the terms of service, they are legally obligated to send user data to the CCP, which essentially means that the Chinese government has your data. They know what you're addicted to. And that might not seem too bad, right? Oh, yeah, what do they want with data? Look, it's very interesting because we're quite young, and you've probably heard more and more over the last few years about data, haven't you? And you probably thought, like, you know, why do people take that so seriously? Oh, data. Like, you know, we go onto a new website and it says, like, oh, you're data tracking cookies, and we just press accept. Like, it doesn't make a difference, right? When you're quite young and almost oblivious to this, you don't really think anything about your data. You don't really think your data is worth much. Up until you realize that that's just because we've lived a very, like, comfortable, sheltered life here in the West, or, you know, in some more developed countries like India, Pakistan, and everything. Because you see, in some parts of the world, in particularly China, your data is used to totally control you. So here in the West, you know, our data is used to, like, track our shopping so they can sell us more stuff. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, who cares? Like, oh yeah, we'll be shown more adverts. Okay, fine, who cares? It's not that important, right? But in China, and this is really true, like, they already have what's called like a social credit system. Like, they've essentially got like a score. If you've ever watched that Black Mirror episode, I think it's called Nosedive, where it's like everyone has like a 5-star rating out of 5 stars of like what you'd rate each other for, you know, your social mannerisms and everything. In China, they have that. Like, they literally give you like a social credit score, and if your score is too low, they literally restrict your freedom. You can't travel, you can't take buses, you can't take trains. And there's an article I read which showed that when there was like some kind of protest in China,
Stell dir mal vor, du hältst dich nicht an die Regeln von der Regierung und bekommst deswegen einen schlechten Social Credit Score. Und deswegen darfst du einfach nicht mehr reisen. Du darfst nicht mehr reisen, du darfst nicht mehr Wasser kaufen, du darfst keine Elektrizität mehr haben. Und das wird kommen. Das wird zu 100% kommen. Muss nicht jetzt in 3 Jahren sein. Es wird aber kommen. Ich bin mir zu 100% sicher.
Using people's data like this, like they stopped people from being able to like leave the process so they could get arrested.
Das ist auch jetzt schon, oder nicht? Es ist auch jetzt schon. Wenn du mal damit, wenn du das hier nicht gemacht hast, dann darfst du nicht mehr reisen. Du hast hier so ein Buch, wo du Stempel bekommst, und wenn du keine 3 Stempel hast, sorry, aber dann darfst du nicht essen gehen. Dann darfst du nicht einkaufen, dann darfst du nicht reisen, dann darfst du nicht mal raus, dann darfst du nicht mal aus deiner Tür. Wenn du hier auf deiner Handy-App nicht zeigen kannst, ja, ich habe hier ein 3 und ein G, dann darfst du nicht raus, dann darfst du nicht einkaufen, dann darfst du nichts mehr kaufen, dann bekommst du keine Elektrizität mehr oder so. Der ist jetzt nicht, aber dann hast du kein Essen mehr. Fucking Türsteher für Rewe. Wir hatten Türsteher für Rewe. Bro.
Arrested to stop people from being able to enter the process by stopping like certain like QR codes or something, you know, like people's like data from being able to buy trains and everything. You don't realize how much your data can control you just because just yet we haven't experienced that in the West. And this then coupled with the fact, and you might have heard this, that in China the TikTok algorithm promotes a very different kind of content than it does in the UK. The algorithm in China has been meticulously designed to promote the kind of content that will inspire their young people to become hard and disciplined. What does the algorithm in the West promote? Degeneracy.
In their version of TikTok, if you're under 14 years old, they show you science experiments you can do at home, museum exhibits, patriotism videos, and educational videos. Now, they don't ship that version of TikTok to the rest of the world. It's almost like they recognize that technology is influencing kids' development, and they make their domestic version a spinach version of TikTok, while they ship the opium version to the rest of the world.
How is this linked? What does this all mean? So TikTok in the West promotes degeneracy, and you've known this, right? You've seen these little TikTok girls shaking ass and all this. Like, sometimes you see like real fucking porn, like you see some like actual like nudity on TikTok in the West and everything. Little 13-year-old boys are seeing this stuff. This was actually an interesting article. If a 13-year-old boy typed OnlyFans in TikTok, some shit like that, like if he typed it or searched it or whatever, he would be then shown like a bunch of OnlyFans. Like, of course, do you know what I mean? If you search OnlyFans, or if you like show an interest in like the OnlyFans and the data picks up, no matter if it even knows that your account is owned by a 13-year-old, it will start to show you literal OnlyFans models that are trying to tell you to, like, you know, subscribe to their fucking OnlyFans list. Do you understand the severity of this? Because many people won't at this point. This just seems, oh, well, you know, like, yeah, they're just making people here degenerates, like addicted to sex.
Ein 13-jähriger Junge kann mit einem Klick mehr Titten sehen als sein Opa in seinem ganzen Leben. Stellt euch das mal vor.
And, you know, shaking ass or whatever in China, making them productive. It doesn't seem that bad, right? This will only really make sense, like the severity of this will only make sense if you know the consequences of a sexualized nation. There's a quote: if you want to destroy any nation without war, make adultery or nudity common in the young generation. And this quote is becoming more and more realistic. It's become more observable. A country falls when especially the young people become too sexually free. Fuck, this video can get really fucking deep. I really hope you can follow along with me. So far, okay, let me just do a recap. So far, we've covered the issues with TikTok. It's extremely addicting. We've covered that TikTok is made by the company ByteDance that reports literally to the CCP, which means that they share data there. And that TikTok's algorithms promote degeneracy, nudity, adultery, open sexual revolution in the West, but then very restrained, disciplined in the East and in China. First of all, we need to answer this question. Why does adultery, why does like sexual freedom destroy a nation? Because that doesn't seem like too obvious right now, does it? Why, when a nation's young people start to have more like free sex outside of marriage, why does that destroy the nation? Well, when people...
Weil die dann keinen Drang mehr haben. Sie haben einfach keinen Drang mehr zu erreichen. Die haben ja alles, was sie brauchen. Die müssen ja nicht mehr für Sex arbeiten. Du holst dein Handy raus, holst einen runter und dann hast du für dein Gehirn Sex. Da musst du nicht mehr was erreichen. Du musst nicht ins Gym gehen, du musst deinen Körper nicht aufbauen, du musst nicht dein Gehirn aufbauen, du musst dich nicht entwickeln, du musst nicht zum Mann werden, weil du bist quasi in deinem Urzeitgehirn schon ein Mann, weil du die ganze Zeit Sex hast. Ey, du hast hier das Image, du hast hier das Bild, du hast das Gefühl, du hast für dein Gehirn Sex. Jetzt musst du aber nichts mehr machen. Du hast schon Peak Level von Humanity erreicht. Peak Level.
People have too much, like, you know, sexually free sex, like, oh, go fuck whoever you want. The family starts to break down. When religion was in control, the only time you'd really be having sex if you followed those rules was at age 18. You know, a man and woman would get married and they'd quickly, you know, be horny as fuck, so you'd quickly get married, you'd have sex, you'd start having children, boom, you've got a family unit. You've got the nuclear family unit, which was like literally like the most core part of a strong nation. Because if that nation eventually went to war, if that nation was going through some Great Depression, that man would be working hard because he had a family, he had a wife and kids to fight for. When the family is made redundant and the father is killed from the family unit and replaced with the government, and then the young people are promoted to be degenerate, and you see this music and everything. Bro, I haven't watched a music video in a while, and my friend Sam, me and him were on a Discord call, and he just like ended up sharing his screen and he put on like some rap video by so, you know, like one of those like black American rappers, like, you know, you always see them wearing chains and shit. I hadn't watched any music videos in a while. I've not seen any porn.
Don't run, don't trip.
I don't have any of that.
Don't run, don't trip.
I've seen this random one where it's like they're all in like the hood or something and they've got like a bunch of like degen girls twerking around them. The guys are like, you know, imitating sex moves and everything. It's very degenerate. Obviously, these aren't their fucking wives or anything. Do you know what I mean? Just that made me think like, fuck, like that's actually normal in the West to see this type of degenerate content. You see like these female artists getting like dry humped by their male like dancing stars when they go onto like stage or something. You see all these people promoting like this degeneracy. A lot of people reply to this and say, oh, well, you know, you're a misogynist. You don't
Die werden einfach gefickt auf der Bühne, aber halt mit Klamotten an, Digga.
want people to women's sexual freedom and stuff. This isn't about hating on a particular sex. This is about realizing that this causes weakness, because the thing that causes the most strength in a man and therefore the most strength in a country is family. And so when we destroy the family by showing people that they can have sex and promoting them to have sex outside of the family, perhaps
Sein
this can
Editing
get
ist so
even more
heftig,
red
Digga.
pilled,
Ich liebe
because
sein
then
Editing.
those same people, especially the women, this gets very fucking red pilled, honestly. Like, you start to see all the plots like linking together. I'll put this all together soon, but the next thing we need to discuss is what happens when sexual freedoms are opened. What happens when people, young people, are allowed to like to just fuck, and it's just normal to be on Tinder and stuff. Men get extremely horny, and so men really want to fuck, and so men start crowding and start wanting to fuck the same girls, and you know, they're sending the messages and everything. That means that women's self-esteem and like, you know, self-identity starts to inflate, because an average girl is now getting the attention of like a fucking 100 years ago. An average girl is getting hundreds of messages, literally like almost like a rock star level attraction that she's getting, and she's literally just like a 5 or something. And I don't say this like disrespect her, I'm just saying like the brutal truth. So what happens if sexual freedom is opened up? Men are now allowed to like hoard women and start texting them all the time, and you know, of course, like when you're allowed to just fuck as a guy, it's like, you know, you may as well go shotgun strategy and message as many girls as possible. Women's self-esteem is rising from that, so women start seeing themselves better. When women see themselves better, they only want to fuck guys who are better than them. So this 5 now thinks that she's an 8 because of the hundreds of Tinder matches that she's getting, and now she'll only fuck guys who are 8s, 9s and 10s, but these guys won't want to get into a serious relationship with her, which means that she will, like, this sounds fucking gross, and I don't mean to be like sexist, but she will get ran through by the chads that don't want a real relationship with her, because they still see her as a 5 even though she sees herself as an 8. You know, this is like the sort of conventional girl that you see who's like, oh, you know, all guys are the same, guys only want one thing and stuff. Like, guess why she's saying that? Because she's had these like instant sexual experiences with guys who then don't want to get into a real relationship with her, because her, you know, her sort of image of herself has been inflated by all the little chumps messaging her. Then she's had so so much sex with so many different guys that then that reduces her ability to even pair bond and stay true with one guy in the future. This is where we get controversial, and like right now, I'll be totally honest, I have a fear that I don't even want to record the rest of this video because it might not be worth me literally losing my entire channel for this video. I could literally get cancelled for what I'm about to say, and I will try and say it in the most like uninsulting way possible. But this same woman then who thinks of herself here, even though she is here and she's been then sleeping with, well, she wants these guys and she'll happily get into a relationship with them. So, they end up meeting up, going on a date, and then they fuck her and then they don't like reply because these guys want a girl up there. This girl has now slept with 10 guys, 20 guys. And there's quite gut-wrenching research that shows that when a woman has slept around, her ability to stay faithful drastically decreases. In fact, it is research. This is not like my sexist opinion. There is real core research for this, that the number one indicator of a woman initiating a divorce and also getting into an affair is her premarital sex history. The number one indicator that she will divorce you or cheat on you is simply just how many guys she has slept with before you. What's interesting is that it is not about the number of times that she has had sex. So a woman could have sex with her boyfriend 10,000 times, and that would actually like affect her less than if she had 10 hookups just one time each. So with the promotion of degeneracy, women essentially become corrupted, and that largely destroys their ability to be able to like stay faithful.
Digga, egal wie das sich jetzt anhört. Frauen können keinen Sex haben ohne Gefühl. Ihr könnt mir sagen, was ihr wollt, aber Frauen können keinen Sex haben ohne Gefühl. Es geht nicht. Natürlich, es gibt ein paar Ausnahmen. Es gibt mal dieses Mädchen, die fickt, wie sie will, aber weil sie sich daran gewöhnt hat, quasi nichts mehr zu fühlen, weißt du? Aber damit ein Mädchen mit dir überhaupt ins Bett geht, muss sie eine gewisse Anziehung emotional zu dir haben. Weißt du, Männer wollen einfach ficken, weil du gut aussiehst. Frauen wollen nicht einfach ficken, weil du gut aussiehst. Die wollen auch dich zu dir hingezogen fühlen. Die wollen auch emotional von dir verstanden werden. Die wollen von dir geleitet werden. Die wollen dominiert werden. Das hört sich jetzt sexistisch an. Aber wenn du wirklich mit Frauen mal zu tun hattest, wenn du wirklich mal mit Mädchen zu tun hattest, weißt du, dass es stimmt. Frauen sagen dir, nee, stimmt nicht. Aber deine Aktionen, deine Actions sagen etwas anderes. Sorry, Bro. Weißt du, ich als Mann kann eine Frau hierher holen, eine Charlie hierher holen. Ich mach papp. Dann bitte gehen sie aus meinem Haus heraus. Weißt du? Und es juckt mich nicht. Ich hab dann danach keinen Bock mehr auf die. Ich will die danach nicht mehr sehen. Ich will nichts mehr mit der zu tun haben. Und sie hat schon Gefühle aufgebaut. Und das ist meistens, warum Mädchen sagen, Männer sind alle gleich, die wollen alle nur Sex. Ja, wir wollen alle nur Sex. Also nicht alle, aber die meisten wollen nur Sex. Wir können halt Sex haben, ohne Gefühle aufzubauen. Ihr könnt es halt nicht. Ihr wolltet am Anfang nur Sex, aber merkt, ich habe Gefühle aufgebaut, weil ich mit dem Sex haben will. Und deswegen hat ihr eure Gefühle verletzt, obwohl ihr beide nur Sex haben wolltet. Versteht ihr, was ich meine?
With the guy that they eventually want to really get with. And this is the dynamic you see of like a bunch of like, younger girls who have been really pushed to be like so sexually free when they're 16 and 17, 18, having sex since they were like 13 years old, going to parties, 18, 19, 20, just enjoying themselves. Girls just want to have fun and stuff, double-digit body counts. And guys aren't like free from the responsibilities of this as well. I'll discuss guys, but I just want to talk about what happens to girls. She gets to 22, 23, 24, she wants to start taking things a bit more seriously. She's like with 15 guys, 20 guys, she's, had a couple of relationships here and there. And eventually when she's 29 years old, 30 years old, 31, she's had like 10 years working and everything, and now she really wants to get married. She's got pressure from her parents to have kids and everything. Then she meets a chump like you, and you're a real man who'll take care of her, who doesn't just want her for sex like all those fuckboys did. Yeah, all those assholes did. They just used. Then she meets a real man like you. A real man. A man who doesn't really care about her sexual history because he's so secure in himself. So she eventually meets the guy who's like the sweetheart that she's always wanted. And, she falls in love. Yeah, he's amazing. And, he's so happy. Yeah, I've met my princess. And, her past, it's okay. And then her ability to actually stay faithful with this guy is just fucking, like, the data shows that it's lowered. But if we think about it in like an individual case, what a realistic scenario might be is that, 6 months they've been together, 1 year, they've got a child, 2 years, 3 years, they've got 2 children. And, years have went by, bro, years. kids. And she's had children and everything. Now she's focused on the children. She's maybe in work and stuff. And she reminisces of like the Chad from 10 years ago who like, used to pound the fuck out of her. And she ends up like, just like being a little bit free on a voice call with one of her girlfriends, and they're just talking, and they just like subtly keep their voice down, like, oh yeah, do you remember Chad? Like he just came back into the city today. And she's like, oh my god, his dick was so big and everything. And he slept with me so, like, it was so fucking good. I can't believe like that one time him and his friends did. And then imagine her husband's like listening in from the door. I know this seems like weird as fuck, like misogynist, but like, bro, this is real stuff that happens. For guys, it's a very interesting case of how TikTok, well, not just TikTok, but just the degeneracy leads to this, because guys are then, we've already had this natural impulse inside of us to like fuck a lot. And so when we're then heavily promoted to do so, and it's kind of open to, you're being sold sex more than you realize. Like you're being castrated. Like all these porn websites, TikTok, social media, like they know that you're so addicted to sex, so that they've just allowed women to present themselves in this way, because then they're just hooking your attention and they make more money from you. And so the majority of guys go through life just totally just addicted and just distracted by like the sexual shit they see on screens, by movies and music videos and porn and everything. And the top 10% of like chads, the top 10% of guys, they're eligible to have sex. And so it's a really weird dynamic where like literally the majority of guys have a porn addiction. They're totally lonely, and yet just a small percentage of men have got literally an astronomical body count, like have slept with so many women that you wouldn't even believe. There's men out there who have quite literally slept with thousands of women, and there's a fair amount of guys who have slept with hundreds of women, and yet there's millions, billions of guys who have never even kissed a girl before. So all of these problems, stem from degeneracy. Degeneracy is promoted by TikTok, and all these problems lead to a weak country. It leads to a country that doesn't have a strong family unit. It leads to a country that has men who don't have children, who don't have wives to work hard for. And so those men just kind of, sleep away into the dark.
Du hast doch einfach keine Bestimmung mehr. Wofür willst du denn arbeiten, wenn du keine Frau und keine Kinder hast? Du kannst doch keine richtige Gesellschaft aufbauen, wenn keiner eine Bestimmung hat. Keiner hat irgendwie eine Motivation. Ich muss das jetzt machen für meine Kinder. Ich muss das machen, um für meine Frau zu sorgen. Natürlich wird dann eine Gesellschaft zusammenbrechen.
Just go to work, grudgingly come back and just like jack off. And 10 years from now, it'll be the exact same routine, but they'll come back and exchange 0.1 Ethereum for a cuddle in virtual reality fucking metaverse. TikTok isn't entirely to blame for this, because degeneracy has started in these Western countries for a while. But how TikTok comes into this equation is very, very interesting. There is a term called subversion. Subversion is a term for destroying your enemy's culture from the inside. It's like a war tactic. There is literally a war tactic that discusses how to destroy a nation without actually going to war, and it's by degrading their culture and the strength of their men. And there is a war strategist, a very famous Chinese war strategist from like ages ago, hundreds or maybe thousands of years ago, called Sun Tao. And there's a book called The Art of War. And in this Chinese book of like war strategy, it says that one of the greatest war strategies out there is to destroy the enemy country without even fighting a war that they realize that they're fighting. Essentially to like have an invisible war that the enemy country doesn't even realize that they're at war. That strategy has been used to create TikTok. It is literally destroying like the culture, the values of other countries, promoting degeneracy at like a compounding scale, weakening the men there. I heard this, I don't know if this is true, but school kids in China are being given the art of war to study in school. Like that's like compulsory reading. In the UK, we have fucking Biff and Chip. Like we have like these books that we've been reading since.
Und was bekommen wir, Digga? Was habe ich gelesen? Fucking der Trafikant, Mario und der Zauberer, Faust. Faust, der behinderte Hurensohn, Digga. Die bekommen die Kriegstechniken beigebracht. Ich muss etwas über Mario und der Zauberer wissen und Faust, der Bastard, Digga.
Biff kicked over the ball into his neighbor's backyard and he's gotta go get it. We've been reading this shit. China's been preparing for war, openly stating that they are going to war. And everyone here is too busy just twerking. The degeneracy of the West is unfounded. You've heard Tate talk about London being like a failed state. And I think a lot of people agree with that. Like, London is like very dangerous and everything. I'm in London right now, by the way. I'm not from here. Like, I'm from like up north in Warrington, Manchester. But like, this is my first time really coming here. I was about to move here, get an apartment here. And when I heard this stuff like, oh, London's a failed state, it's really dangerous. There's a bunch of like stabbings and stuff here. I was like, oh, it's probably overblown. It's probably in like the broke areas. London's like really big. So it's in some like broke ass little town close to London or something. I've been here for a month and there's been like 4 quite dangerous like instances that we've experienced. And like me and my girl, we're not like that social. Like obviously we're like, you know, nice people and stuff, but like we've not been out partying, we've not been out every single day. I literally just wake up and just work all day and we go to the gym. That's like the only time that we're outside of the house. Literally just yesterday we just witnessed that guy getting robbed. Like we're in the bedroom right now of this apartment we're staying in. We hear like screaming outside. We look out this window right fucking here. We look out and quite literally, bro, 50 meters away there's a Deliveroo driver getting robbed by 2 guys. They're literally punching him. They're looking through like the box, you know, like the mopeds, like the scooter guys who will come and deliver your food and stuff. They've got like a little box where the food is kept. They're like going through that whilst like beating the shit out of the Deliveroo driver. I've called the police and everything, and I'm just watching it thinking like, bro, those guys are literally robbing this guy for like £20 worth of fucking food. It shook me up. I called Sam and everything. We just kind of like laugh, yeah, London's failed and everything, and maybe this wasn't a good idea, but after doing that, bro, I went onto like Google and everything and just started, I was like, you know what, I actually need to be a little bit more anxious because this shit's real and I've been like too sheltered. So I actually did what Tate recommended. I went onto Google. I don't recommend it. I don't think you should do this, but like if you're interested and you're morbidly interested, and maybe if you're over 18, I went onto Google and I just searched London stabbing, and I actually read like in detail some of the articles. And then I'm not going to tell you where just in cases, but like I searched for the specific area that I'm in and searched stabbing and started to like, you know, see the articles of people being stabbed near here, and where it would say which street they were stabbed in. You know, a news article will say like, oh, he was killed in this street. I'd copy and paste that street into Google Maps, bro, and it fucking shook me up because they were literally less than 5 minutes walk from here. How is this related to what we're talking about? Well, when degeneracy causes a nation to start like, you know, declining, and the men become more weak and the men don't have much to work hard for, then the country starts like performing worse. The hard financial time starts hitting, then people are really fucking broke, and then, you know, there's no fucking father. You think the people who are stabbing around here, you think those guys have got like good quality father figures in the home? Of course not. Degeneracy is leading to the father being killed off away from the home, and, you know, the single mother who's going to raise the child. And so these guys who are out here stabbing, these guys who are out here fucking robbing people and attacking people for £20 worth of food, I can guarantee they're not going to go home to like some positive, loving father. Of course they're not, right? The 2 guys out here just robbing this guy for £20 worth of food, they're not going home to some like loving family, are they? They're not going home to some loving parents, masculine father, feminine mother, are they? The father's being killed away from the home, and when the father gets killed, the boy isn't going to be raised to be successful. The thing is, the West does not want to listen to these statistics. I think this video might get me fucking fully, like this video might get age restricted or something, fine. This video might get demonetized, fine. I fear that this video would literally like cause me to get silenced. And I really, like, I don't even know if we're going to release this video, honestly. Like, I've already had it in mind. Okay, I'll send it to my editor, I'll get him to do the first draft, and me and my team will come together and literally just see, like, is it worth the risk? The West doesn't want to talk about this. There are severe consequences to a child being raised without a father. And that specifically means, like, I have to say this, that specifically means that there are problems to a child being raised by a single mother, and that stems from the degeneracy that's happening. It stems from this you go girl attitude. Like, you know, this woman who's, you know, slept around more, and then she's got a higher body count, and then now she's got less of a chance to pair bond with her husband, and then she eventually goes and cheats, or she files a divorce, and she can raise the kids all by herself because this woman...
Digga, natürlich, Frauen können Kinder alleine aufziehen. Du kannst ein Kind alleine aufziehen. Heißt es, dass es gut ist? Heißt es, dass du ein gutes Kind heraufziehen kannst? Leute, die ich kenne, die von einem Elternteil aufgezogen wurden, die haben irgendwie Probleme in ihrem Leben und mit sich selber. Natürlich als Frau, ich kann alles alleine. Ich kann alles, was ein Mann kann, und ich kann noch viel mehr. Ich kann mein Kind alleine aufziehen. Who needs men? Ich brauche keinen Mann. Ich bin die eigene Frau. Okay, ja, das kannst du. Heißt es, dass es gut ist? Heißt es, dass es erfolgreich ist? Heißt es, dass du ein gutes, ein erfolgreiches, ein glückliches Kind aufziehen kannst? Es wird erwachsen, okay. Irgendwann wird es 18, das Kind. Okay, heißt es, dass es eine gute Kindheit hatte, dass es irgendwie gute Werte beigebracht bekommen hat? Das ist eine andere Frage.
Who is a victim in her own right, has been conditioned and brainwashed since 5 years old to say that, yep, you can do everything that a man can, you don't need a man, you go girl, yes, you go girl, you can have a career, children, and raise the children by yourself, you don't need a man, the government will pay for you. Men are being escorted out of their families, and this is what the result is. What you hear about in London, these London stabbings of like these fucking fucked up young men who are going around with knives, with machetes, with fucking swords, and literally killing innocent people, that's happening because of only 2 things. It's happening because the father has been taken away from the home, and the father's been taken away because of degeneracy, because of TikTok, and also it's happening because of poor mental health, which again has been caused by TikTok. And TikTok again is not just the entire problem in porn websites or the social medias. I told you that this would get a lot deeper than just oh, it's, it's a social media website and that's not good for us. Maybe you're watching this right now and you think I'm absolutely crazy, or maybe you're watching this with so much fucking interest because it's clicking in your brain. You're thinking like, fuck, now the pieces have been put together. I don't know as like a macro level solution to this. I really don't know. But I know for certain what will work for you is your own self-improvement. It's your own journey of delaying gratification, of improving your mental health, of going to the gym and becoming a strong man because you will be needed soon. Now is the best time of your entire life to become a strong man and to start making money. And just in cases you need to like leave your country, if you're in the West, if you're in UK or US, just in cases you need to fly out and like take your family to like some other country or something, like bro, I don't know what's gonna happen. But when I researched TikTok as I did for this video, I'm scared. I'm literally not saying this to like, invoke your emotion and hopefully get more engagement in this video, bro. This is something that's like literally kept me.
Wir sind die ganze Zeit so fokussiert auf Länder wie Katar, östliche Länder, und sagen, das sind so die schlechtesten Länder, die es gibt, und wer würde da leben? Oh, die akzeptieren die Gruppe nicht. Oh, die haben hier, die haben Arbeiter, die nicht bezahlt werden. Katar ist in fast jedem Kritikpunkt besser als fucking Deutschland. In Katar lebst du einfach viel sicherer, viel besser, viel luxuriöser, viel einfacher als in Deutschland. Katar macht fast alles besser als wir und dann, die akzeptieren keine Schwule. Halt deine Fresse, Digga. Jeden Tag in der Woche würde ich nach Katar ziehen, anstatt hier zu leben. Irgendwann, wenn die Scheiße hier zu viel wird, Digga. Deutschland ist auf dem Level von Amerika, Digga. Deutschland ist vielleicht sogar ein Level drüber als Amerika. Du musst hier verdammt nochmal ausziehen, Digga. Wenn du genug Geld hast, raus hier. Dubai, Katar. Ich gehe vielleicht nach Brasilien, wer weiß. Aber raus hier.
Me paranoid for like the last 2 weeks. And I know for a fact some people are going to reply to this video like, oh yeah, he's just paranoid, oh he's so anxious and stuff, bro. Like, if you're not paranoid, I think that's weird. I don't think I'm the weird one for being paranoid when we've been presented with this data. I think the people who aren't paranoid, who are just still with the same mindset, like, oh, it'll be okay. Like, just because we've never experienced like a first-hand war in our lives, if you've lived in the UK or something, it doesn't mean that one can't happen. There's countries right now who have literally like been invaded. They weren't expecting a war like 1 year ago. Everything just seemed kind of normal. Things can change. And if it...
Weißt du was? Dann führen die einen Krieg, aber nicht bei uns, nicht bei dem Land, wo alles stattfindet, sondern woanders, damit wir uns darauf fokussieren, aber damit ruhig die alles weiter pushen können. Damit ruhig der Krieg zu uns geht, aber er so indirekt ist, dass wir uns trotzdem darauf fokussieren können und wir das übersehen, was bei uns abgeht. Aber der richtige Krieg wird nicht dort geführt. Der ist hier. Der Krieg ist hier.
Helps my argument at all. Every rich guy that I have in my contact list is preparing for war. Like, they're preparing, stacking up more money. We're all literally speaking about like, okay, what's the plan of action right now? Every rich guy, bro, every single guy that I know who's in my contact list who's worth more than 1 million, every single one of them is slightly paranoid. Every single one. And in fact, you can even go see like their social media pages, their YouTube channels and everything. And they've literally been like subtly mentioning shit like this for like the last 2 years. And I only just picked up now. What's so interesting is that all of like the broker guys, all like, the broke random guys out there who, just so ignorant to all this stuff. They're the kind of guys who are saying, oh, well, just chill, bro. What were you, come on, come to the pub. Come play some video games, bro. Distracting themselves. That's a lot to take in, so I don't know what else to say.
Und du bist so fucking ignorant. So ein großes Problem, was auch von fucking TikTok stammt, dass Leute so ignorant sind. Die sind so arrogant und ignorant. Du hast deine eigene fucking Bubble. Du denkst hier, das, was in deinem Kopf ist das Beste. Aber wenn dann jemand mit einer anderen Meinung kommt, nee, das darfst du nicht sagen, aber das ist doch falsch. Anstatt mal zuzuhören, was diese Person zu sagen hat. Vielleicht kann es dir ja helfen. Vielleicht hat diese Person ja mehr Ahnung als du. Vielleicht ist die Person reicher als du. Vielleicht hast du was zu lernen. Vielleicht weiß die Person mehr als du. Die Person war in anderen Räumen. Ich sage nicht, dass ich die Person bin. Ich bin auch broke. Aber solche Personen wie er, solche Personen wie Andrew Tate, solche Personen wie Sneeko, solche Personen wie Iman Gadji, solche Leute wissen etwas. Die waren in Räumen, wo wir nicht waren. Die haben Geld, was wir nicht haben. Leute sind so ignorant. Die können einfach eine andere Meinung nicht wahrnehmen. So kannst du nicht lernen, so kannst du nicht wachsen, Bro.
To you, bro. Watch this video right now.
So.
Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.
Geiles Video, Digga.